When I was in high school, I used to train martial arts. With martial arts came a certain discipline, which I really valued. So here I was in high school, dilly-dallying around, just living in my own little world, where it was okay for me to play video games. It was okay for me to have fun and really not care too much about the future. Yeah, I used to enjoy playing FIFA the whole time. And, playing FIFA with my friends every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And just, exist at school, bro. I wouldn't really do too much at school. I would just be there. Until I was like, okay, cool, let me actually log in. Because from like the first grade to the seventh grade, 8, 9, I didn't really need to work that hard in school. I have a pretty good memory. So I'd read something the night before the exam, come out with like a 60 or 70. And I was okay with that. I wasn't really tripping. Until it came to like the 10th grade. It was like, all right, cool. Let me lock the fuck in. All right, I'm going to study every day after school. I'm going to do this shit. I'm going to get all A's. I'm going to be him. So I tried. I really did. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I didn't care about school. I really did care about school. Yeah. But I tried to work hard. I tried to study every day. But I just couldn't get myself to study. I really wanted to get the good grades. But my mind would always wonder, and I would wonder, what's going on? Why am I always daydreaming or thinking about this girl I like? Or just thinking about the most random shit, but I just couldn't get myself to actually study and lock in. It was until a few years later when now I'm in uni, I'm watching a whole lot of YouTube videos and I discovered a few things. I was like, damn. This is what I was missing my whole life. This is what I was missing. If I just knew those few things, I could have actually logged in, studied every day, and gotten good grades. This is basically the psychology of people who are ambitious but lazy. Is that they really want to get good grades. They really want financial success. They want good relationships. But at the same time, they just can't because they don't know why exactly they can't. They can't pinpoint why because they genuinely want, and they sit down and they try to study and they try to work hard, but they can't. So, until I discovered those 4 things that I'm about to go over, I really couldn't. So, stay, stay fucking tuned. The first thing I did that helped me become ambitious and hardworking and goal optimized was to optimize my schedule, optimize my diet, and optimize when I did the work. Basically just optimization. Now, when I say optimization is, you have to be very analytical about what's going on in your life. You have to be very analytical about your goals. When is the best time for you to be working? When I was in high school, I used to train martial arts. With martial arts came a certain discipline, which I really valued. But also, I wanted to be the best. I don't like partaking in stuff and not being the best. I wanted to be the best at martial arts. I wanted to be the best in academics. I wanted to be the best at everything I did. Everything I could control that was in my power, I wanted to be the best at. So I ended up waking up in the morning around 5 a.m. every day to go for a morning run just to increase my stamina, to make sure I don't gas out of training. And with that, I would notice that after school, when I tried to study, I didn't have the energy to study after school. And I had training at 5 p.m. School ended at about 2 p.m. So in that 3-hour block, I had to eat to be, to have the energy and be well fueled for the workout that I'm about to have, the martial arts session that I'm about to have. So I would eat, I'd sit down and I'd try to study, but I couldn't study. Interesting. Until a few years later, I actually realized that I needed to optimize. Instead of trying to go for that run first thing in the morning, I needed to look at my schedule and say, okay, my priority right now is both academic success. Academic success ranks higher than martial arts, if you're being realistic, because I'll do martial arts for the rest of my life, but I only get to do high school one time. So academic success should have ranked a lot higher. Okay. And then I should have also sat down and said, okay, right after that, then I could now put in martial arts, then I could then put in some friends and just, everything else. The reason I say that is right now I've discovered that for me to be the most productive when I'm recording YouTube videos or when I'm working on my SaaS business, I need to do it first thing in the morning. Because if I try and put it anywhere else in the day, that'll be after eating. And after eating, you don't feel the same. Hence, I put the term optimization. Optimize your schedule, optimize the most important habits to put them in the beginning of the day. Now, if I could go back in time, if you're in high school, you might actually want to implement this. So if you're in high school or you're in university, I actually did this well at uni, where I'd put studying first thing in the morning. I would study in the morning. If that meant I needed to wake up at 4 or 3, I'd sleep around 6 or 7, wake up around 4 or 3, study for about an hour or two. Because that's when my brain is the sharpest. And people don't understand how important that is. Because you don't feel the same. During the day, you will be a lot more lethargic, even if you want to study and it's important to you. You won't just get some motivation out of nowhere. You will be tired and you just want to be a sloth right after eating, and then you need to work out. After working out, your brain won't really be the same as well. And people don't take all those things into account. So that's the first thing. That really is the first thing I did. So yeah, first thing, optimize. The second thing, which was very, very important and pivotal to how I've structured my days and structured my life, is diet. I know that sounds strange, but let's just get into a rabbit hole for a second, yeah? You don't need to believe all the wishy-washy stuff people are telling you, microplastics, seed oils, but here's what I will tell you. Be your own experiment. Experiment with your own diet, okay? If you're in a position where you can afford to buy meat all on your own, I'd recommend you do it for a week. Just eat nothing but meat. Have about a kilo of meat just for a week. See how your brain feels. Physically, your performance in the gym might go down. If all you're having is just meat and eggs, steak and eggs, and you're still hitting your calories, your performance in the gym might go down. Agreed. But at the same time, your mental sharpness would be so much better. So for me, this came from being on either end of the extremes, where I'd eat bad food for a while. Not really bad food. I'd have carbs, I'd have my fats, and then I'd have my protein. But I'd have a lot more carbs and I would have a lot more protein. And I never understood why my brain was lagging or I couldn't really focus. So I went full carnivore and then realized that, okay, I'm really suffering at the gym. And then went off carnivore and went a lot more carbs. And then I found a good sweet spot in between. So if you're trying to work 24/7, carnivore would be highly recommended. But if you're also trying to build progress in the gym, if you're trying to get bigger, you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to have good athletic performances in the gym, you actually want to have some carbs in your diet. Preferably, this is what I do now, and I found this to be very, very effective. Have carbs before and after your workout, and maybe for dinner at the end of the day, where you won't really do something or anything really after eating your carbs. After having dinner, you might just want to read a book, but don't put pressure on it. Don't put pressure on reading the book specifically, but you might just want to read maybe, but it should be something light. It shouldn't be anything that's life-changing you want to do after eating dinner. So, takeaway point from this: optimize your diet by eating carbs before your workout and after your workout, and then having carbs for dinner. That day is really important for your gym goals. So now how this really works together is first thing in the morning, first 2 to 4 hours of your day, you just want to work on the most important thing you can. Fasted. You don't want to eat anything. That's very important. Don't eat anything. Just do this for me, yeah? Wake up in the morning. Wake up, if you don't have work or school, say on the weekend, really. And then you have an important goal you're working on. That does not require physical performance. Say, for instance, a mental task or academic task, or you want to study, or whatever you have to do. Yeah. As long as it's not like a physical thing you need to do. Wake up in the morning. For the first hour, work fasted. Just on a cup of coffee, have a cup of coffee and just work fasted. Yep. After that hour, I want you to eat anything. Don't even have a big meal. Eat anything you possibly can. Have your normal breakfast. If it's heavy or not heavy, have your normal breakfast. And then try and work again. Be very analytical and just observe how your performance will actually drop. How you'll be more likely to wonder, how you'll be more likely to have your mind just wandering and daydream. And you realize that, okay, cool, maybe working fasted is the best thing for me. And the sweet spot for that is usually 2 to 4 hours. Going from 4 hours to 6 hours is a bit heavy on the body, but you will still be very productive as long as you have coffee to just suppress the hunger and give you energy. That's the first two things that you need to be very cautious of. Number one would be optimizing the time you work. Number two would be your diet, optimizing your diet. The third thing, I would say this is very crucial, especially in this modern day social media age, because you keep getting fed all these ideas that you want nothing to do with. But at the same time, you can't really do much about it because it's all in your face and it's been said to be normal. The third thing would be putting your phone away and not using your phone. Deleting social media apps if they really aren't benefiting you. If you're not making money from them, why do you have them? Just delete, stay away from your phone. And if you think it's not that big of a deal, I want you to notice how addicted you are to your phone. How whenever your phone is next to you, you just feel like unlocking it, even if there is nothing there for you. You don't have a notification, you just feel like unlocking your phone. You just feel like opening your phone, going on social media and doom scrolling. That's really an addiction that no one really talks about. And at the same time, people have normalized it. But this is not normal. This is just instant dopamine you didn't work for, which will fuck with your dopamine receptors and you won't really want to do anything hard because your brain is not used to working for dopamine. It's used to getting instant dopamine. If you want Uber Eats, just scroll on your phone, fucking order whatever you want to order, and bam, food has arrived. So you just need to be very cautious about that. If you can, just do what I did. I have my phone right here. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but it's in grayscale, which makes it very distasteful to use. I don't feel like using my phone anymore. The moment I touch it, it's very unappetizing. It's very demoralizing to use because it's just in black and white. I can't see color. And even if I try to scroll, it's black and white. There's no pictures. And it just makes everything so dull. So it keeps me away from my phone and keeps me productive throughout the day. And now the fourth thing is very tricky. And I would say if I learned this a bit earlier, I would have accomplished a lot more of my goals. If I learned this without feeling guilty, I would have accomplished a lot more of my goals. By far, if you've been listening to the first 3 points and you apply this, I think this step alone could get you really far in life in general. Like, because people don't really talk about it enough. Because it has a very, very high rate of stigmatism to it. The fourth thing is ignorance. Now, when I say ignorance, I don't mean be ignorant to everything and everyone. When I say ignorance, I mean be ignorant when it comes to being you. Be ignorant when it comes to your diet. No one is ever going to feel the way you feel. No one is ever going to know your body like you know your body. Listen, it's better for you to sleep 10 or 12 hours a day, every day. Study 2 hours a day, every day. As long as you are productive every day on a long enough time scale, than for you to listen to your parents who are telling you, look, you don't need sleep. Do you understand how detrimental that is? If your parents are telling you, look, you need to sleep for 6 hours a day and study 5 or 6 hours a day as well. That is very detrimental to your mental. People don't realize it, but this whole grind culture shit is very unsustainable. Very, very unsustainable. People are not meant to be working like that. That's why everyone is so burnt out, everyone is so depressed, and people are just gloomy. People don't want to talk to anybody because of this whole grind culture thing. If you need 10 or 12 hours of sleep because you endure a lot of physical activity, you're always in the gym, you're an athlete, then get your 10 to 12 hours of sleep every night. Because that's going to lead you to being the most optimized and the most optimal and the healthiest version of you, where you can actually look forward to working every day. At that rate, you can easily wake up in the morning and be like, all right, cool, 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 cool. I had my 10 hours. I feel good. Might as well actually just study. You don't need as much motivation anymore. You don't need 30,000 cups of coffee. Fuck that grind culture shit. It doesn't work. There's a reason guys like Andrew Tate, David Goggins, and them are only here for seasons. There's a really, really good reason why those people are only in trend for a while. And then they fall off and no one hears about them for months. There's a reason guys like Andrew Tate, David Goggins, and them are only here for a few seasons, and then they fall off and no one hears from them for months on end. And then they come back and then they get you all motivated. There's a reason. There's a reason these people start getting annoying when you listen to them every day. The main reason is that what they're preaching is just a whole bunch of motivation, and they're not actually providing any real value to your life and any real benefits. The moment you realize that, it will be a large eye opener, because these people don't know you. I don't know you, for fuck's sake. Yeah? But I'm telling you what's worked for me. What's worked for me is figuring out my body and how many hours I need of sleep. I can't be listening to these guys that tell me, you're retired. Look, sometimes you're going to need the rest. Boo-hoo. Okay? You don't live with David Goggins. Alright? That guy probably sleeps all day if he's tired. You don't know that. It's all a facade. This whole grind culture shit is just meant to keep you all burnt out. Sometimes you need to be ignorant. Be like, okay, you know what? Mom, Dad, I hear you. I hear you. But I cannot study if I've only slept for 4 hours. Especially if you're a teenager, your brain needs more sleep. The main thing here, the main important thing is that you are consistent throughout the academic year. Not for you to sleep early and then wake up way earlier than you should have. And you're tired, you're half asleep. Listen, I have nothing against crunch time. There will be times where you need to do that. But in the long enough time scale, if you've been studying every single day for 2 to 3 hours straight, you will prosper because you've actually had the energy to study every day for 2 to 3 hours straight. You don't need insane amounts of volume for you to be studying 6 to 12 hours every single day. You don't need that. Okay, unless you're in medical school, you really need to make it a priority. But remember, neglecting your sleep will still be detrimental to your studies because you can't focus if you haven't gotten enough sleep. And you can only have so much coffee, you can only have so much caffeine, so much energy drinks until you completely burn out and you find yourself in the hospital. So don't be a fucking retard. Come on now. We're here to be better. With that being said, y'all, fucking stay ready.